In this video I'm going to do a full solo playthrough of Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms by Scott Almes of Gameling Games. I've done a couple of videos on this topic now. I've done how to play and also one of our speed setup videos. So if you're interested, then do check those out as well. But this is a fantastic game, one of my favourites for solo just because there's so much replayability in it. Within the box there are scores of different factions, all with unique abilities, all with interesting combinations, although some of them don't work terribly well in solo play, so you've got to sort of substitute it and have a bit of an experiment, but isn't that part of the fun? So here are the lands. These are all unique as well, so there is so many different combinations. And in the speed setup video I randomly drew two factions, one of which was the Elves for the AI player. As it happens, this doesn't work terribly well in the solo mode, so I've subbed it out for the Dark Elves. Now if I was to be playing on my own, I probably would have just played this out, because that's part of the fun of just experimenting and seeing what all the different factions can do, but I don't think it'd make for a terribly interesting video. So let's look at our factions in today's video. So I swapped it out for the Dark Elves because it does work, well, A, they're elves, and B, it works quite well. The Dark Elves are a faction that obviously like war, so if they have various war related abilities, if you only have 2 armies in play, other players can't start a war with you when defending, -1 war cost, less useful in solo modes, to be honest, as an AI. You can start a war in regions that have 2 of the same player's armies in them. That's unusual. Other players can move their armies into a forest, or can't move their, so you can occupy forests. And then furthermore, on the elvish theme, is they're going to gain additional victory points at the end of the magic track if they occupy either 3 or 5 forests. Now I drew the Satyrs, or Satyrs depending on how you're going to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Satyr, which I believe is the UK English pronunciation of it, but do let me know in the comments. These sneaky little forest creatures are basically all about underhand tricks. So if there's a tie in a war, whether you're involved or not, gain 1 wood. Now that's not particularly useful in this, but interesting in like a 3 or 4 player game. But then they do get useful as they go on. On the second level of magic track, instead of trading, you may steal 1 resource. So you can steal, you can collect additional resources, you may select an action that has already been taken, so you can double up. Usually it's only 1 action per turn, and then you gain an additional victory point for triggering that. Right, so let's get to it. I go first. I'm playing as sort of the neon orange, and I'm going to try and get up this magic track straight away. So I'm going to spend one of my green tokens to get on the magic track, and the AI players are going to join me. If you only have 2 armies, so I can't actually war with the elves at this stage, no matter how much I want to. So let's see how long this lasts. I'm going to try and attack the turn Dark Elves. So we roll to find out what happens on the compass. So a 2 is they're on trade. So in the trade mode, they simply gain 1 of every single item. Why I use that, I don't know. There we go. That's more like it. So they've traded. Do I follow? And is there anything I need to swap? I don't think so at this stage, so I'm just going to collect a resource. Now later on, when I get here to the level 3, I could have had 2. When collecting resources, collect 2 for any regions where you have 2 armies, so that'll be really useful later on. So I should be marking these off on the old action tracker. So we've had trade, and we've had research for the magic track. Back to me what to do. So I've got options of patrol, quest, build. I think I'm going to get on that build track. Nice and early on, and it's going to, I say get on the track, I'm going to get to the level of 0 victory points, and that's just going to cost me 1 ore. And of course I'm going to get followed straight away. Quest, quest, build. I'm going to get followed by the Dark Elves. Back to the Dark Elves, who are going to roll a 4, which is quest. Now quest basically means that they're going to be able to move one of their armies onto another card. So to do this, we roll again and we look at the result on the compass card. So I roll a 7, and this selects who moves, and it's the day side. So 7 is here, so we follow it around, and as it's day, it's this cube here that will do the quest in. If it was night, it's the further one, so that would be this one. So we'll roll again. So this one's going to quest, and it's going to quest to 11, and 11 is up here, and straight away we're going to try, it would try to get war. So given that quest, the quest action has some rules with it, we just need to check. I believe you can't actually quest. An army may only quest from a region that borders the edge of a territory card. You cannot quest across water. You can't move an army into a region that already has 2 armies in it, as I suspected, so we can't actually go there. So I think what will happen is we'll go on the next available area, which to me, going around, is this neutral kingdom here. So that's going to work in my favour, because they're not going to be able to draw resources for that. They do get additional victory points for occupying the cities at the end of the game, and I believe this city is actually the inspiration of the tiny epic defenders. This is sort of the land, the overview of the land, and this is where the defenders is set. So they've quest. Do I want to join in and quest? That's a good question. I think I am going to do, because I'm stuck just in forests. How are my resources looking? At some point I'm going to need to start expanding, so I think I'm probably going to quest, and I can just sneak in just here. The crags don't block me, so I'm going to quest into this pasture land, hopefully to harvest some food. So we've had quest. The options now are only patrol or expand, and I'm going to patrol because I didn't plan my turn out very well, so I don't have sufficient food to expand. You basically, to expand, I will put a 3rd army down, and then need to pay 3 yellow cubes, 3 food. So that was a bit of silly planning. So I'm going to be forced to patrol. You can't collect resources on your turn. I'm already established in the wheat here. I've got a good amount of forests. I think I'm going to go here. In fact, that's the only place I could go on that card, to be honest, because I can't start a war because I've only got 2 armies out. Right, so we flip onto the night side, and this changes a couple of things. It changes the war cost, so basically it's easier to attack at night. Nice bit of theme there, and I'm sure we'll come on to that. But also the selection priority changes. So in the instance where you have to choose between two units, then you choose the further one. So we clear the card. I took the last action, so back over to Dark Elves, and they're going to roll up 11. So 11 is quest straight away. They're going to quest. We'll select which 10. So that's going to be, these guys are going to quest. They went on a bit of an adventure overseas. In fact, you know, I think actually when he quested, he can't quest over water, so he couldn't have quested there. So the next available slot would have actually been this. So as it happens, it didn't make a difference, but let's get it right, I suppose. Right, so he's here and he was questing. Where's he going to quest to? Let's roll again. To 3. So that's going to be here. No wars yet. Suits me just fine. I still can't. So we've quested. I'm not going to quest. I'm going to take resources. I'm going to definitely try and gain additional food so that I can start expanding. I think this turn I'm going to take the easy option. I'll just get up that magic track. This will allow me, instead of trading, you may steal a resource of your choice from another player. What a fantastic opportunity that is, because they're getting really quite far ahead now. Oh, I realise I missed something actually. Upon flipping this card, your opponent collects one of each resource, so they're actually one further ahead here. Right, so what did I do? I went up the magic track, so they're going to follow me. It's going to cost them 2. 1, 2. When defending, -1 war cost. Now I'm sure there's a community rule from the BGG forums, but to me that doesn't make much sense in this particular solo mode. So we'll go back to the Dark Elves. There we go. I'm already forgetting to move my little token. How long before it all falls apart? So let's find out what they're going to do. He has a 3, which in this case is build. Fair enough. He's going to move up the track. Going to cost him 2 resources. I can afford to copy him, and build is now off for the night phase. I'm going to trade, and now I'm going to use my special action, and in trading, instead of trading, I may steal a resource. So I'm going to steal a food, hopefully to set myself up for an expansion in the next turn. So let's see. So I traded, so these guys are just going to gain 1 of everything. So Dark Elves, 7. Hopefully it won't be expansion. I can hit it this turn. 7 is research, which I've already done. So I believe the rules are we're going to go across to trade. We can't trade, we can't build, and we can patrol. I'm not going to be able to expand anyway this phase. So who is going to do the patrolling? 10. So this character is going to patrol, and they're going to patrol. Is there going to be a war? 7. There is. There is going to be a war. Now let's just check the text here. If you have only 2 armies, other players cannot start a war. So we're not starting a war, we're having war waged upon us. So the way this works in this game is in the night phase, the cost of war is 1 times the number of armies. So they've got 2 armies out, so the war cost is 2. The day phase is so much more costly, it's double. So it's number of, so they'd have 4 war cost. All I need to do is exceed that, and for war it's 2 green. Oh, I can't I can't actually beat it. I don't have sufficient funds. That's a nightmare. So I can either lose that unit or I can attempt to retreat. Now, retreating, I believe you just pay a amount of food for all the units you have. After war costs are paid, the losing player pays food equal to the number of armies they have. Scuppers my expansion plans. However, it can't result in another war. I can retreat, I think, to just an adjoining area. What a nightmare. So I've got 2 armies out. I'm going to lose my 2 food that I stole. Perhaps justice. 1, 2. And I'm going to have to retreat. So I will retreat, be forced back. Where do I want to go? I think I'm going to go back into maybe these forests here, because if I went to this one, I can't patrol across the water. So some interesting tactical decisions to be made here. I don't want to anchor myself in and get blocked by the crags. I think here's going to be as good as anywhere for now. So that was a patrol. Do I get to copy the patrol? I think I'm just going to boost these resources, and I'm going to take 1 of each. Right, clear the card, back over to day phase, and it'll be my go. So let's that has scuppered my plan. So I'm going to trade. I'm going to start thieving resources again. So I'm going to nick a yellow food, and then ironically he's going to copy and gain. Let's see, is this actually a sensible tactic? It's making no difference to him. I suppose at least I'm not depleting my own resources. Okay. So these interesting little tactical thoughts you're having all the time, and because there's so many different combinations of units, of factions, you're constantly thinking, it's 12. These guys are going to expand, and they can afford to do it. Now, I believe expansion for the AI player is just going to put expand. If the dummy player is able, they will discard the number of food necessary to create a new army. This army is not, but rather in an open region adjacent, use the compass to select. So they can, it's either here or here they're going to expand to. And they're going to expand to 11. So here, and it's going to cost them 3 food. 1, 2, 3. I can't afford to do it, and that's blocked me for that turn. What a pain. Right, so expansion has gone off the table for this turn. Right, what to do? I don't actually have a lot of resources. I can't get up the track. Can't get up the magic track. I probably need to just... Still can't wage war. I think I'm going to have to quest. I'm going to be kicked out of my own homeland. So I'm going to travel from off the edge of any card over to another edge. I'm still desperate, so I'm going to move here. They're going to also quest, so unit that quests will be number 1. Should be this one, and they will quest, hopefully not to somewhere that needs war, to here. Quest has gone. Dark Elves 8, which is trade, has gone. Build, and they can afford to build. They're racing ahead, so it's going to cost them 3. 1, 2, 3. I can't follow them, unfortunately, so I'm going to collect resources. So build has gone. I can't afford to research, so I'm going to be forced to patrol. I could do with upping this, so I'm going to patrol here. They will follow my patrol. Number 12. So this guy's going to patrol, hopefully avoid war, to 2. This is interesting. So he can, he's going to go here, which is just as well. Right. That is the end of the turn, so we're going to flip the card. Our enemy collects 1, 2, 3, 1 of each. And it is the Dark Elves' turn. So what are they going to do? Nefarious tactics are they going to take on? 2, they're going to trade, so they're simply going to gain 1 of each resource. I, of course, will copy their trade, and I will simply steal a resource for myself. I think I'm at the point where I can expand now, which is ideal. So I'm going to put a 3rd army in place and just remind myself how this works for the human player. I think you actually put, when you expand, you put it in one of your, add a new army to a region you occupy and pay food equal. New army must place in the same region with another army of your colour. As I thought, it's basically the opposite of what happens with the AI. So I'm going to join my guys in the forests. Can they expand? They can't afford it. Thankfully, because I stole some food from them. I wish I said that was a tactical decision, but I don't think it was. So we've expanded, so they're just going to collect 1 of each. Oh no, they're going to collect resources, so they're going to have a brick, a forest, as 1 of each as it happens. Okay. Right. What are these guys going to do? 3. They're going to build. And can they afford to build? 4. Unfortunately, they can. They're really racing away here. I'm going to have to try and keep them out of the mountainous regions. Can I afford to build? I can afford to copy that and get back up on this track. Right, build is off. Right, quest. I think perhaps I'm going to... I can't wage war. After spending to build my tower, my empire spread a bit thin. So I think I need to, perhaps, trade's gone. Can't afford to research. I'm just going to patrol, I think, into the mountains. I've got all my bases covered. And they're going to copy my patrol with unit 4. And it's this character, and he's going to patrol to 10, which he's going to join his mate. Righto. That's patrol done. 2 options left for our enemies, which is 3. Build, patrol, gone. Quest. They can quest, unfortunately. Who's going to quest? 5. One of these guys is going to quest 2. There's only 1 open. 3. It's going to result in a war. which unfortunately I forgot to deplete that before, I think, which unfortunately I think they're going to win. Can I actually defend myself? Don't think I can. I can't afford to pay the retreat cost. That would cost me 3. I can't afford to stand and fight because they're looking at a war value of 3. I've only got 2 here. Oh dear. This, unfortunately, my newly created army has been sent away with a tail between its legs. So, onwards we clear, and it looks like the Dark Elves are heading for victory as things stand. So they quested. We didn't actually follow that quest, and we're not going to, but we are going to take up one of each of these. What to do? It looks like they're going to run away at the moment here, unless I can catch them or perhaps make tracks here. This could be my hope. When collecting resources, collect 2 for any regions where you have 2 armies. So let's, in fact, what I'm going to try and do is quest. I think I'll quest. I'm thinking that maybe if I quest over here, I need access to forests, but I could just patrol. So I'm actually just going to patrol this turn. I'm going to hope this guy patrols. So I really could do without war at this stage. So we've rolled a 1. That is fortunate, and they're going to patrol to 7. Patrol is done. The Dark Elves will now take action 12, which is to expand. Can they afford to expand? They've got 4 food. They have, yes they can. Unfortunately, they'll expand next to one of their existing armies to 3. So they'll expand next to these guys in the direction of 8. Which looks like here. So they've got 4 armies out on the board, so they're actually getting close to a couple of win conditions there. They've got 3 armies left to get out, 3 stages left on the victory track. I really do need to get this magic machine running. Okay, so they've expanded. I'm not going to expand, but I am going to collect resources. I'm going to take 1 of each, so I'm on 3 of all resources. Can I afford to get on the magic track yet? See, ideally what you want to be doing in this game is seizing up opportunities when your opponent can't afford to match you. At the moment they can. So we're going to trade. Yeah, I'm going to trade and steal a resource from the Dark Elves, but then of course they just gain 1 of everything. So it's quite a powerful feature of the AI player. In fact, so powerful I am just going to quickly check it, that when there's a trade, the dummy player gains 1 of each resource type. This is getting out of hand. Back to the Dark Elves. There's not a huge amount they can do. They're going to take action 1, which is research. And they can afford to do it. So they're going to jump up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Which means that if they can start a war in regions that have 2 armies of the same player, which is a bit of a worry. And I'm going to basically try now to put 2 armies in the same region so that I can start collecting additional resources and race up this magic track. So what did they just do? They just did research. I copied it. So can I afford to build? I cannot. This leaves my only option of questing. So I'm going to quest. And I think I'm going to quest here. I'm being forced to put all my apples in the magic cart, if such a phrase exists, which it probably certainly doesn't. So I've quested. They're going to quest with 5, just daytime. Just going to be these characters here. And they're going to quest 2, 7. So they're going to join their friends over in Ogmore in the forests. So we clear the card, flip to night. Our Dark Elves gain 1 of each resource. And I quested, they match me. So it is the Dark Elves to go. This is why it's so important to move this around, and I'm not doing. So what are they going to do? They can take action 5, which is to quest. They're going to quest units 10, which is these guys, and they're going to quest 2, 7. And they can just about get in there because these crags don't actually know what they do. I think it's just flavour because there's access there. They don't block here. I don't know what these crags do. Do let me know if you've watched this far in the video. Very strange. Right, so quest is taken. I'm going to take this opportunity to gather some resources, and I've got them in separate areas. So I'm going to join 2 here. I'm going to next excuse me. Next, I'm collected resources. It's my go. I'm going to trade. I was going to steal 1 and gain 1. And then our enemies are going to take action 10, which is patrol. They're going to patrol unit 8, which are these guys, and they're going to patrol to number 5. So they're going to join the mountains. I am not going to patrol. I'm going to take additional 1, 2, and then I'm going to hit research. This is going to be interesting because this allows me to take actions that have already been taken. So if I can somehow get ahead, I can seize the opportunity to get ahead on the magic track. So I have 5 wood. So I'm going to spend 4 of them. They're unfortunately going to match me, and that prevents me from moving to forests where the Dark Elves are. So this is getting interesting now. Perhaps there is hope and the end game is coming. So that was research. Dark Elves are going to take action 9. They're going to build, and they can't afford to, so they're going to take 1 of each resource. In fact, they're going to take resources of their types. So they're going to have 1 ore, 2 ore, and a forest. I can't see a way, unfortunately, of getting their forest down so they can afford to match me on here now. So they took action 9, which is build. I still can't afford to build, so I'm going to take resources. I think 1, 2. And that's turn. So it's my turn. What to do? Still doesn't make sense at this stage to I may try and patrol. Do I want to patrol? So what is also problematic is that they're currently occupying the castle, which I believe gives 2 victory points at the end. So I could do with kicking them out of that region, but ideally not in the day. We're 1 away from research. I think what I'm going to try and do is maybe build up. I'm going to trade for, basically going to trade here, a standard trade. They're going to copy me. Do I want to do that? It's a silly thing to do. So I'm going to just do my advanced trade. Trade for ore. Get ore. In fact, that's a silly thing to do as well. I traded for forest. I think that worked out. So I've traded for forest. I've stolen a forest off them. Everything else has moved up. I've got additional forests. That will give me at present 8 war cost, which should allow me to try and kick them out of this region. So I've traded. They've matched me. Dark Elves are going to do action 9. They're going to build. They can afford to move up. Oh, I think they've left me behind, unfortunately. It's almost like an exponential curve, this area. And you go 0, 1, 2, 4, and then it runs away 7 and 10. There's 5 victory point difference there already. I can't afford to build yet again. It's poor planning. So I'm going to take resources. So I'm going to take 2 forests. One, 2. I'm hoping the research doesn't get triggered. So I'm going to patrol and start a war. Try and kick them out of this region here in the hope to gain a couple of extra victory points. So I'm patrolling. My war cost, their war cost is double the number of armies, which is 4. So that'll be 8 I can afford to take. For war it's 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8. I have beaten back these armies. The solo player, the AI player, I believe if you beat them, The dummy player's war cost is determined based on whether the compass card is shown day or night. During the day, the dummy's war cost is twice the number of. At night, the dummy's player's war cost is equal to the number of armies they have in play. The dummy player never pays for war. If they can retreat, they will, and they must pay to retreat. Use a compass to determine the direction they retreat. So that will cost them 4 food to retreat. And they're going to retreat in the direction of 8. So I've kicked them out of this area, which is great. It's used up all of the food. So that was successful, actually. Now they're actually going to patrol. Watch them kick me right back out again now. 12, they're going to expand. That's good. And they can't afford to, so they're going to collect resources. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to expand. Can I afford to? I can't afford to. So I'm going to collect resources, which is just 1 forest in this case. And I'm going to quest. And I'm going to move over here. And I've managed to save the research. So I survive another turn. So we flip the card. They gain 1 of every resource type. And it's the Dark Elves go. So they're going to take action 1. They're going to research, which is going to trigger the Endgame. That's a real bummer. And I've left myself in a position where I can't match them, unfortunately. So I think I've been absolutely ruined here. So they trigger their gain an additional victory point if they occupy 3 forests, which they don't. So that's a small blessing. So let's count up the victory points and let's work out just how bad this loss has been. Scoring. So you've got 1 for each army in play. So they've got 4 victory points there. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 victory points there. 6, add 7, 13. Can I get to 13? I doubt it very much. So I have 2 armies out there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Unfortunately, I have lost the game at a score of 13-10. Great fun. What I'll probably do after this video is play through this again, because that's part of the joy of this game. There's always a way. There's always a way to win. And there's just so much replayability. So that was my game of Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms. I'm sure there must have been various times when I've missed a rule, or perhaps miscounted, or done some creative accounting with resources. Do let me know in the comments. And I can't recommend this game highly enough. It travels so well, takes up a small amount of table space, and has fantastic replayability. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.